Not every experiment is designed for the greater good. Some were born out of curiosity, some out of control, and a few because someone simply wanted to see what happens when things go too far. Throughout the 20th century, many scientific tests were abruptly shut down. Not because they failed, but because they started working in ways no one expected. Some were buried, some erased from national records, some remain only in broken whispers from those who witnessed them. And in photos, no one's ever fully proven fake. In this video, we explore 3 experiments that either existed or are feared to have, and the reason they were stopped, not because they were useless, but because they were too dangerous to continue. Experiment 1. The Russian sleep experiment. No official documents, no confirmed witnesses, but also, no one has ever outright denied it. According to Cold War intelligence chatter, in 1947, a group of Soviet scientists allegedly tested a neurostimulant gas in a sealed chamber. No sunlight, no sound from the outside, and one rule: no sleep allowed. 5 war prisoners were told they'd be freed if they stayed awake for 15 days straight. The gas was pumped into the room continuously, keeping them in a state of hyper-alertness. Day 1 to 3, talking, laughing, eating. Some even sang. Observational notes read, "No unusual behavior." But by day 4, the voices dropped. Long conversations became whispers. By day 5, they stopped speaking altogether. One man screamed nonstop for 4 hours until his vocal cords ruptured. The others? Silent. They simply stood staring into the corner, unblinking. By day 7, the surveillance audio failed. No noise, just heart monitors showing they were still alive. On day 9, the team opened the chamber, suspecting someone had died. What they found barely resembled human beings. One was dead, eviscerated from chest to abdomen, his organs stuffed back inside with bare hands. 2 had missing fingers, likely self-inflicted. Another sat cross-legged perfectly still, eyes wide open, though he no longer had eyelids. And the last was licking blood off the wall. As they were pulled from the room, one man screamed, "Put me back! We're not done!" There is no light in there, only thought and it. No scientist claimed authorship of the experiment. No medical records were ever released. Only a scratchy audio tape circulated quietly through Western intelligence in the 1950s. Later, neuroscientists speculated that extreme sleep deprivation could cause shared psychosis, a hallucinatory state where individuals lose touch with reality but remain linked by distorted group cognition. And when that shared belief detaches from biology, it doesn't need sleep, it just needs to exist. The Russian government has never confirmed the test, but they've also never denied it. So the real question isn't did it happen, it's if nothing happened, why bury it? Experiment 2, the Stanford Prison Experiment. No drugs, no wires, just a uniform, a pair of mirrored sunglasses, and one reminder, you're the guard, you have authority. In August 1971, the basement of Stanford's psychology department became a prison. White walls, fake steel bars, CCTV running 24/7, no natural light. 24 volunteers, all college students, were randomly split into guards and prisoners. Same pay, same understanding. It's only a simulation, but no one was allowed to break character. Day 1, initiation. Prisoners were arrested at home by real police officers, unannounced. They were cuffed, stripped, photographed, fingerprinted, then transported to the prison in the back of real police cars. From that moment on, they lost their names. Only numbers remained: number 8612, number 819, number 1037. Guards were given uniforms, mirrored shades, rubber batons, and absolute authority to maintain order. Day 2, rebellion morning brought unrest. Prisoners shouted, banged doors, cursed. One group blocked ventilation with blankets and refused orders. Guards didn't ask for help, didn't call a supervisor. They improvised, isolated rebels, forced prisoners to stand watch overnight, ordered relentless push-ups, denied food, banned bathroom breaks. Nobody trained them to do this. No one told them not to. Day 3, moral disintegration. Guards invented games. Forced roll call for hours, sleep deprivation. Prisoners had to call each other by numbers only. When one whispered a fellow inmate's real name, they were punished until they collapsed. Prisoner 8612 broke down, screaming at the camera, "This isn't acting anymore! Let me out!" Zimbardo, the lead researcher, thought he was faking. He was held another night. Day 4, paranoia sets. In 8612 was released. The others weren't told why. A rumor spread. He's coming back with outsiders to free them. The team's response? Reinforced cell doors, doubled guard shifts, encouraged snitching. The simulation became a reality. Day 5, role absorption. Some prisoners followed orders without question. Others criticized fellow inmates for disobedience. Guards now saw themselves as keepers of order. One said, "We're not doing anything wrong, we're just maintaining discipline." Prisoner 819 had a breakdown after 6 hours of punishment. He begged to leave. Zimbardo agreed. But as he left, he heard others chanting, "Prisoner 819 is bad. He's ruining our prison." He walked back into his cell. No one forced him. He just felt guilty. Day 6, collapse. A visiting psychologist, not part of the team, arrived. After a few hours, she asked Zimbardo, "Do you hear yourself? You're talking like a warden. You're no longer the researcher, Phil. You're part of the system." Zimbardo looked at the footage. He didn't recognize himself. The experiment was shut down 8 days ahead of schedule, but for many involved, it never really ended. The scariest part isn't the behavior. It's how quickly it became normal. No torture, no brainwashing, just a role. And people becoming exactly what that role demanded. Experiment 3, MK Ultra, when your mind is no longer yours. Not all dangerous experiments happen in labs. Some happen in hotel rooms, in drinks, and inside your own thoughts. MK Ultra was the code name for a classified project launched by the CIA in the early 1950s. The stated goal? To explore techniques for behavior control in extreme conditions. It sounds like science fiction, but MK Ultra was real. And worse, we only know about the parts that weren't burned. Phase 1, addiction and observation. CIA agents worked with hospitals, prisons, universities, and even brothels. One of its most disturbing sub-projects was called Operation Midnight Climax. They hired sex workers in San Francisco, brought unsuspecting men to hidden apartments rigged with one-way mirrors, and spiked their drinks with LSD without consent. From behind the glass, agents watched them hallucinate, break down, and, in some cases, forget who they were. No one signed forms, no one was debriefed, and no one was allowed to leave until the tapes were done rolling. Phase 2, mind dismantling. LSD was just the start. What followed was deeper and darker. The agency explored hypnosis and memory implantation, sleep deprivation, induced amnesia, sensory isolation, psychic driving, the forced repetition of truths until the brain believed them. One subject was dosed with LSD every day for 174 days. Others were pushed into psychosis. Some never came back. In 1973, under political pressure, the CIA director ordered all MK Ultra documents destroyed. What survived by about 20,000 pages wasn't meant to survive. The rest, we don't know, and maybe we're not meant to. Aftershocks. Later, court documents confirmed. Universities like Harvard, McGill, and Stanford were unknowingly involved. Prisoners, mental patients, and even random civilians were used as test subjects. The CIA used aliases to funnel funds through front organizations and buried what couldn't be explained. Some researchers believe MKUltra laid the groundwork for psychological warfare, national-scale gaslighting, reverse memory protocols, unlearning real memories, and even abandoned super soldier programs. To this day, the agency claims the program ended, but no one can say how many versions were born under different names or continued in shadows. Because in any information war, the first battlefield is always your mind. The scariest thing about MKUltra isn't that it existed. It's that we don't know who it touched or whether it ever really stopped. One experiment was shut down because the subjects stopped being human. One collapsed when the researchers forgot they were pretending. And one we're still not sure ever truly ended. These aren't stories about medicine or progress. They're stories about what happens when we strip away rules, remove witnesses, and push human minds to the point of fracture. Not all monsters are born. Some are built inside sealed rooms on silent tape by people who say, it's just research. We were never meant to see these files. We weren't supposed to know what was tested. Only that, it stopped. But if these are just the experiments we found out about, then what about the ones that were never exposed? The footage is gone, the documents burned, but the questions remain. And sometimes, that's the real control mechanism. You don't need to erase the mind, just make it doubt itself. Subscribe for the next investigation. We're not done yet.